In 2026, it will officially become more expensive to heat in Germany, harder to ignore energy passports, and slightly easier for families with children to live. If you own an apartment or house in Berlin, some of your expenses will automatically increase simply because the calendar has turned to 2026. Now let's specifically analyze which laws are coming into effect and how they will impact sales and rentals in Berlin. My name is Sergey. I am a real estate agent in Berlin. I see the market as it is. Laws change, prices follow. This video contains only facts based on official sources, Germany's budget, climate laws, CO2 emissions regulations, social programs, infrastructure. Let's start with the most painful, heating and carbon dioxide. In 2026, Germany is taking its emissions trading to a new level. Carbon dioxide will no longer be sold at a fixed price. Now, certificates will go through auctions with a corridor of approximately 55 to 65 euros per ton of emissions. And this means only one thing. Gas, fuel oil, diesel, and any other fossil fuel will become more expensive by definition. Not because of greedy suppliers, but by law. Old houses with gas boilers and poor insulation immediately fall into the risk group. For tenants, this means an increase in utility costs. Investors will now consider not only the net rent, kalt, but also the gross rent, warm, as their heating expenses will increase significantly. Buyers will now automatically ask for discounts due to thoughts about the cost of replacing old heating systems with new ones. Conversely, sellers of any energy-efficient property will have a reason to raise the price. Now, about the new GEG rules, the law on building energy efficiency. In Germany, there is a law. All new heating systems must consume at least 65% of their energy from renewable sources. And for existing buildings, Judgment Day will come in 2026, when major cities, including Berlin, will be required to publish their heating plans, and then it will become clear which city will prefer central remote heating, which will choose the so-called green gas, and which will not be able to do without heat pumps. But in 2026, there are elections in Berlin, and the people who will have to think about the city's energy efficiency will be entirely different. However, taxpayers will not run away anywhere, and will insistently ask us to the cash register, regardless of the election outcome. And for the market, this means simple mathematics. Buildings that are easy to modernize will receive a premium in price. Buildings where modernization is complex and expensive will be sold at a discount. Tenants will increasingly ask about energy class and heating type, as if in this city one can choose from a wide range of options. Energy-efficient properties will be rented out faster and more reliably in 2026. And what about social housing? In 2026, the Federation is increasing its funding to 4 billion euros. This means more subsidized projects and more regulation in the affordable rental segment. For private investors, this means increased competition for land plots and additional restrictions. The rental market will lead to a partial decrease in prices, but the shortage of quality middle segment will persist. Now, about family incomes. Child benefits are raised to 259 euros per month. Plus, a new system called Kindergrundsicherung, basic child income, will come into effect. For the real estate market, this is not a revolution, but some support. Families will find it slightly easier to afford higher quality rent, especially if the house is modernized and help save on heating. Infrastructure and transport. Germany plans to invest in its railways, public transportation, digitalization, and energy infrastructure. Berlin-Brandenburg will benefit from this. Suburbs will become more attractive because living farther away is cheaper and commuting to the city will become faster. Utility and energy services will have new responsibilities in the coming year. This means an increase in their costs and consequently higher tariffs for users. Now the main question is, what to do? If you are selling an apartment, in 2026, buyers will look at the energy class, heating, and prospects for connection to central heating. An old gas boiler without insulation, for example, is likely to lead to negotiations. An energy-efficient property can be confidently sold for more. It is prepared for climate policies for years to come. If you are a buyer or investor, a mistake in choosing a home in the new year could cost you tens of thousands of euros. Look at the type and age of the heating system, the house's energy class, neighborhood plans, and future modernization expenses. Income-generating houses without a clear heating plan will be sold at significant discounts. If you are a landlord, utility costs become a key factor. Modernization ceases to be desirable. It becomes a competitive advantage. Less heat loss, fewer complaints, fewer risks, higher liquidity. And finally, 2026 is not a disaster. It is the year when bad decisions become expensive and smart ones pay off faster. Subscribe, like, and comment on what concerns you the most: heating, renting, social housing, or whether it is even worth holding onto property in Germany further.